A modern economy extracts its wealth with relentless force. Massive industrial machinery tears into the earth to feed rapid national growth, placing immense pressure on the fragile landscapes that host them. In 2013, India addressed this tension by rewriting its corporate statutes. Under Section 135 of the Companies Act, the country became the first major economy to convert voluntary corporate philanthropy into a statutory duty. This data visualization maps the scale of that mandate. Eligible companies are required to direct at least 2% of their average net profit toward development activities. In the 2023 to 2024 financial year alone, over 27,000 companies channeled nearly 34,900 crore rupees into roughly 60,000 distinct projects. We can see the bulk of these funds filtering directly into three critical development sectors: education, healthcare, and environmental restoration. This scale of capital redistribution represents one of the largest privately funded, publicly mandated development programs on Earth. Statutory laws establish the minimum standard of corporate behavior. Traditional corporate social responsibility focuses on what a company does with its profits. It often functions as a transactional check written after revenue is secured. The necessary operational shift is the move toward environmental, social, and governance discipline. ESG focuses on profit is earned in the first place, acting as an embedded conscience within daily operations. This discipline requires rigorous, auditable metrics. It measures a company's footprint through tracking continuous emissions, ensuring water stewardship, and preserving labor dignity. To secure a license to operate, a corporation's obligation to society must mature from an audited financial transaction into a foundational moral compact. For decades, boardrooms operated on the assumption that prioritizing environmental and social responsibility naturally opposed or eroded financial returns. This matrix visualizes an exhaustive academic review. Synthesizing research since the 1970s, it compiles 2,200 empirical studies. The verdict is decisive. 90% report a positive or neutral relationship between ESG and financial success, holding firm across global markets and asset classes. Responsibility is a matter of evidence. Companies that integrate sustainability into their core operations are positioned to financially outcompete those that treat it as a compliance afterthought. Nowhere is this transition more visible than in Odisha, where rapid national growth and acute climate vulnerability sit side by side. Odisha is an economic heavyweight. The state supplies close to 45% of India's national mineral output by value, heavily concentrated in active industrial districts. The exact geography yielding this wealth is home to scheduled tribe communities, constituting nearly 23% of the state's population. Many reside directly in the forested tracts where extraction pressures are highest. Alongside this industrial engine runs a roughly 480-kilometer coastline along the Bay of Bengal, anchoring ports and energy corridors. That coastline is highly exposed to extreme weather. Cyclone Phelan alone forced the evacuation of nearly 1 million people and damaged 500,000 hectares of farmland. In a macrocosm like Odisha, practices like mine reclamation, watershed restoration, and disaster-hardened infrastructure are the literal load-bearing conditions for the region's continued growth. A review of current results reveals critical gaps in how these mandated funds are currently deployed. This heat map reveals a geographic flaw. Corporate spending clusters tightly around a company's existing industrial footprint, leaving vast stretches of the deepest societal need with minimal support. Reporting also remains an issue. Programs frequently treat communities as passive recipients, tracking success by the amount of money spent, or outputs, rather than actual lives improved, the outcomes. A publicly mandated program is not accountable simply because its finances are audited. True accountability requires measured human impact. Correcting these flaws requires a detailed operational blueprint, a framework for the next stage of corporate responsibility. This blueprint builds 5 necessary shifts. First, move funding to highest need. Second, mandate independent impact evaluations. Third, pool budgets into district-scale missions. Fourth, demand boardroom-level rigor for ESG. Finally, co-design with communities, sustaining interventions beyond initial funding. The task before modern enterprises is to build a functional bridge between quarterly boardroom results and generational well-being at the local level. By pursuing business success and social progress as a single objective, India can begin to move from a legal mandate toward a working model of shared prosperity and generational well-being.